Oh, hi. So I'm here with Shawn.
Hello,
There we
everybody.
go. All right, let's. I'm gonna try something. I want to see if it works better. Hang on. Let's see. I don't know. It might be jarring watching me look that way. I don't know. Maybe I'll flip the camera around next time. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
There has been a whole lot going on. So let's just start by saying it's my understanding, I guess, that Dick Cheney passed, former Vice President Dick Cheney under George W. Bush, right?
Yeah.
So what I asked AI to give me, some good things about the guy and bad things about the guy. Let me share the screen here. I don't think there's any audio, but just in case, there we go. Boom. All right. So awful behavior from Dick Cheney. Key areas of criticism include the Iraq War. He was heavily involved.
He was
in the intelligence, I guess, going out, right? The story that was given to the press. Weapons of mass destruction.
At the time, I really believed him, and I
did too.
Cheney.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, he repeated right here. He repeatedly stated that there was, no doubt Saddam Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction, WMDs, and had links to Al Qaeda,
which both
later
were
proven to be based on faulty intelligence and were never substantiated by the discovery of WMDs. Critics argue he exaggerated evidence to justify the war, which led to hundreds of thousands of deaths and regional instability.
And he also talked about how we were going to come in there and be treated as liberators.
Right.
And that didn't happen either.
No. Oh, no. I made a mess.
And also, the Iraq War was a big mess.
The Iraq War was awful, man.
It
was a gigantic mess because, like we said, it was based on faulty intel. And the major news networks were 100% complicit in that. 100%. There's a reason why people hate the mainstream media now. I mean, not all. Absolutely. There are people who still, absolutely tune in to CNN or Fox or whatever. Either way, I try to, nowadays especially, I try to get the same information from multiple sources before I go putting it out there. You guys notice my social media is not that active because I try to wait and then I talk about it during the show. I'm going to try to get better with that. I know a lot of you guys appreciate the updates, but I mean, touch crack. I'm kidding.
He also supported torture and
Guantanamo. That was the next criticism is enhanced interrogation techniques. Cheney was an unapologetic defender of, quote, enhanced interrogation techniques, such as waterboarding, stress positions, sleep deprivation used on terror suspects by the CIA. While he argued these methods were legal and saved lives, human rights advocates in a Senate Intelligence Committee report described them as torture.
And McCain was not happy with the administration at the time doing this.
Right.
There was a lot of feud between McCain and Bush.
Yeah. And that is one of my biggest issues with any administration is, and I understand the counter argument, right? I say we're supposed to be the good guys.
Agreed.
How can we justify what's going on and the things that people, do in the name of this country if what we're doing brings us to the same level as the people we're supposedly trying to free?
And Ron DeSantis worked at Guantanamo at that time too. I don't know. And I'm not saying that he did any of the torture, but he did work at Guantanamo.
That is interesting.
And nobody's ever asked him about his role at Guantanamo.
Right. That's funny. That's odd, isn't it?
Which would be interesting to see.
It would be. What did DeSantis do while he was at Guantanamo? You
If
know
I ever
what?
get the chance to ask him, I'll ask him.
Let's ask Google.
All right, let's see if it's up
Yeah.
there.
What did DeSantis do while at Guantanamo Bay? Let's see what AI says. He served as a junior legal advisor, JAG Corps, for the U.S. Navy at the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center. His role involved providing legal counsel to the base commander on a variety of issues, including the rules of engagement and how to manage detainee affairs. Specific duties include advising the commander on legal matters, such as how to address hunger strikes by detainees. DeSantis stated in a 2018 interview that he advised the commander that force feeding was a legal option. That doesn't sound right.
No, that's not. That's torture.
Performing general administrative legal work, described by some peers as scut work or glorified runner's duties due to his junior rank. So at the time, he was a very junior rank JAG, which means a lawyer, basically. He was a baby lawyer, a baby military lawyer. They sent his ass to Guantanamo, and he did that. He did legal shit. This is interesting. Interacting with detainees for specific limited tasks, such as confirming they did not wish to speak with their defense lawyers. Now, what defense lawyers? Because I thought that was the whole point of the Patriot Act.
Yeah, that's 100%. That's true.
Because
You
watch look, guys. Everybody's seen NCIS or something like it. And they always talk about, we'll ship your ass to Guantanamo Bay where you don't get a lawyer.
Uh-huh.
What fucking lawyer? What defense lawyer?
That raises questions.
It does, doesn't it? So do they get a lawyer? What do you got? Like, fill me in. I've never been to Guantanamo. I don't intend to know how it works. I don't want to go.
No, me either.
Yeah. And we talked about this before. What happens when they determine you're the next terrorist threat? That, your particular whatever group, right, that they can group you with. And that's one of my concerns with this whole sweeping Antifa terrorist thing, right? All they have to show. Look at, I can't think of who's the guy. I think he's a congressman or a senator, and he had the Antifa book at one point. Do you know who I'm talking about? Let me grab it real quick. You know what? We'll revisit this. Look it up. It's a Democrat, of course, congressman, either a congressman, senator, something like that.
You're talking about Ellison. I think you're talking about Keith Ellison.
Yeah, I think that's who it is. Keith Ellison. He had and I understand what he was doing at the time was supposed to be a joke, but he's like, I found Antifa, and it was a book written by this guy. Actually, interestingly enough, the author of that book fled the U.S.
Yeah, NPR did an interview with him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, why? Because he was afraid. Because people saw this book and saw his name on it. And by the way, I don't know how I feel about a professor for a school here in the United States writing how to be basically an Antifa member and stand up against the legally elected government. We're running into some issues there. But anyway.
Back to DeSantis real quick. One more thing.
Back to DeSantis.
It said there's the allegations of detainee abuse that I've heard about.
Now, it says here, claims emerged from a former detainee, Mansour Adafi, I don't know, and others, that DeSantis was present during and even laughed during the forced feeding of hunger striking detainees. These allegations have been widely disputed by military records and interviews with other service members who served there at the same time. Supervising officers and fellow lawyers stated that a junior officer like DeSantis would not have had the authority or the physical proximity to the medical procedures to witness or participate. I believe that.
Okay.
I believe being a baby JAG, he has no reason to be in. I know, look, I've never been to Guantanamo Bay, but I know how prisons work.
That is true. You do.
I know how prisons work, and there's no way a JAG officer
When you
would
work
be
there.
right. When I worked at Indiana State Prison, there is no way in hell that a JAG officer, an attorney, would have been present during a medical procedure, because that's what that would have been at that point. If he went, yeah, I give my sign off, right? Force feeding is legal. However you may think or feel about it. Once he says it's legal, right? Then it becomes a medical procedure. And there's no reason for him to be there for a medical procedure. So
I'll be fair. Okay.
I mean, look, I'm no huge fan of DeSantis. The guy gets on my nerves. But
I don't like it.
yeah. But I mean, I will say that when I read something that I believe from my experience, I can say, yeah, there's no way. Then I'm going to call it out. All right. Moving on.
Are you gonna do the
Hang on.
some
Yeah.
of the good stuff that Cheney?
Yeah. So let's talk about and Cheney's gone. He left quite a legacy, but some of that's a good thing. Let's see what he did that was positive. Because look, guys, I'm just going to say I was never a big Dick Cheney fan, especially after he shot his friend in a hunting accident. Do you remember that?
I do.
That the whole thing was just sketch, dude. It was just super, super sketch to me. But it says effective leadership during the Persian Gulf War. He was the Secretary of Defense, and he oversaw the U.S. invasion of Panama, Operation Just Cause, and directed Operation Desert Storm, which successfully expelled Iraqi forces from Kuwait in 1991. Now, I will say that I got to give him that. That whole thing, Just Cause and Desert Storm. Yeah, Desert Storm, we had to kick Saddam's ass out of Kuwait. That had to happen.
I only faintly remember that.
Yeah, the rest of it, I don't know, man. I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm not a military strategist. All I got are opinions. I don't have that many facts. But the Desert Storm, which got rid of, it's funny because my buddy and I want to say Desert Storm happened in like 92. 91. Yeah, that tracks. Because I was in high school, and my buddy, he had just joined the Army. He wanted to go to war. That's what he wanted. And I called him. I'm like, you motherfucker. And he's like, what? What did I do? I'm like, you wanted a war. Well, you got one. And it's funny because they were actually loading him up on the transport when it ended. So he didn't even get to go.
No.
Yeah. Not that we were kids, let's be honest. We were kids, so don't put too much into, me saying he wanted to go to war. He was just excited. Anyway. This effort was widely viewed as a decisive military victory and cemented his reputation in national security matters, earning him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is a really big deal. That's like the highest civilian award we can give, isn't it? Yeah. I'll take 3. No. Highly effective public servant. Throughout his long career, which included serving as White House Chief of Staff, a U.S. representative, Secretary of Defense. That's a lot, dude. That is a long and storied career. It really is. Cheney was known for his high intelligence, seriousness of purpose, and deep understanding of the intricacies of the federal government. George W. Bush praised him as a calm and steady presence during national challenges on whom he could count on for honest, forthright counsel. Transforming the role of vice president. Cheney is often characterized as the most powerful and influential VP in U.S. history. He effectively used his experience and influence to help shape administration policy, particularly on national security and energy matters, serving in many ways as the chief operating officer of the George W. Bush presidency.
And some would say, I don't say this, but he was kind of the co-president.
Mm-hmm. I think COO is an excellent
That's
term.
a good way, yeah.
It's an excellent way to put it because he was very involved. in that, like, he was the most visible VP I had ever seen up to that point.
Minus, compare it to Biden, who Obama kind of just put him in a room and
Obama tolerated Biden.
Yeah, I don't think
it was very visible that when Obama was president and Biden was VP, he tolerated him. That was
and then he got tired of Biden messing things up, so he's
yeah, he made him quit doing everything. Yeah. Stay in that room.
Yeah.
Build a library or something. Dude, stop screwing up. Strong stance on national security after 9/11. That's one way you could put it. Advocacy for the rule of law and support for Liz Cheney. Maybe he was a good dad. Only Liz Cheney can answer that. Only his kids can say yes or no. But I've never heard her talk bad about her dad. So it sounds like in that regard, he was very successful.
And condolences to his family.
Yes, and absolute condolences to his family. Nobody, regardless of how your famous relative is viewed, it sucks to lose somebody you care about. So,
he worked a long time with just a heart pacer. Yeah, he had a lot of heart problems.
All right.
Anyway, back to the
So let's jump to this real quick. So, guys, you may or may not be aware of it, but this government shutdown is about to influence a lot more than SNAP. A lot more than our troops not getting paid, a lot more than TSA agents. As a matter of fact, they're talking about shutting down airports. So let's look into this. Full list of 40 airports to be hit by reductions and government shutdown. Says here, air traffic will be reduced by 10% starting Friday at dozens of the nation's busiest airports, which could result in hundreds of delays and cancellations.
Right before the holidays.
Ding, ding, ding. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. In case you haven't noticed, it's November now, which means Thanksgiving is coming up. Thanksgiving and Christmas are the two biggest travel holidays, I believe. Fact check me if you want. Thanksgiving for sure. We know a lot of people travel during the turkey day, man, the turkey holiday, because that's generally the one time a year you're forced to interact with your family that you can't stand. You got your aunt, your crazy aunt over here, and then your crazy uncle over on the other side. Two different branches, and they always fight. They always fight. You guys know what I'm talking about. Or you're getting your creepy Uncle Dave over here. Yeah. I've been to a number of Thanksgiving celebrations that I was like, can we just go, please? But they're going to shut it down.
Yeah.
So I don't know how people are going to get around. You might have to get in your damn car and drive. Maybe.
Don't even put more road on the road.
Right. Man. Which means more people on the road, which means worse traffic conditions, which means longer delays. But reduce traffic by 10% at 40 major airports across the country. Officials say the move is necessary in order to keep air travel safe. Sean Duffy said Wednesday the reductions were an attempt to alleviate the pressure on air traffic controllers who have been working without pay since the shutdown began. Can we just give a gigantic hand to the air traffic controllers who are still working despite not collecting a paycheck?
Yeah.
Like, bro, you're better than me. I don't know that I would get up and go to work if I'm not getting paid. I mean, that's the point of having a job. You don't do that shit because you love it usually. You do it because they pay you. Otherwise, it would be a hobby.
There's a lot of them that are calling off.
Yeah, so I heard actually that there's a huge problem with people with the air traffic controllers not showing up there because they're busy doing like DoorDash or Uber Eats or stuff like that in order to make ends meet.
They gotta feed
their families.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
I really blame them.
What?
I said I really don't blame.
Oh, I can't blame them at all. That's what I mean. I don't know that I would frickin' be there. I better love my job. I better see the bigger picture. Anyway, I'm genuinely surprised that the National Guard has not been activated for this reason, to cover this.
True.
That is what the fucking guard is for.
Yeah. Why is Trump not?
Right. Maybe, just maybe, Trump wants people to feel
Maybe.
what happens. And I got a little different insight on that whole thing than other people. But it says here, absences at air traffic control towers have already resulted in flight disruptions. We're not going to wait for a safety problem to truly manifest itself when the early indicators are telling us we can take action today to prevent things from deteriorating. FAA Administrator Brian Bedford said. The FAA was expected to announce the list of affected airports on Thursday. The reductions are set to begin on Friday. All right, so here's the airports, guys. As you can see, the 40 airports, these 40 airports will see, reduced traffic due to the shutdown. By us, no. Why are you gay? What? No, don't send me anything. Stop it. What is this?
That's O'Hare.
Yeah, but there's two there. Is it O'Hare and Midway? This map sucks.
I thought it was just O'Hare, but
here we go. All right,
Boston.
Yeah, Midway and O'Hare, guys. Both of them. So bear that in mind. Chicago Midway, Chicago O'Hare. Dallas, Houston, and Indianapolis. So the three by us.
See if South Bend is.
That's what I'm looking. Ontario, San Diego.
Nope.
Okay, so South Bend is still full as far as I see. But I'm going to tell you, it's expensive as shit trying to get a flight into South Bend. I flew my aunt up here a couple weeks ago, and we were trying to get her to come to South Bend, but it was like $800 more to fly. Yeah, man. I was like, wow. Damn that. I'll drive and get you at O'Hare as much as I hate Illinois. For that much of a difference, I'll suck it up, man. Like, yeah. Anyway, Washington, Dulles, Teterboro, Tampa, Seattle, blah, blah, blah. You guys can look that up on your own. I did want to tell you about the ones by us, though, because I think that's important. Yeah, it's weird. I got to look this way, but you look that way, so maybe if I mirror my camera. We're getting there, man. I'm still learning the setup, okay? Anyway.
It's a learning progress.
It's a learning process. There you go. Work in progress. Dude, Tesla shareholder, go away. Good Lord. Freaking ads, bruh.
All right.
This is why people get ad blockers, by the way. Tesla shareholders approve Elon Musk's historic $1 trillion pay package. Bruh, can you imagine $1 trillion?
I can't.
Like, I can't even really imagine having $1 billion.
But $1 trillion.
$1 trillion's just like, dude, you could buy islands and airplanes and hookers and blow, and like, you've never run out of money.
And
$1 trillion, dude.
And Elon doesn't really like to spend money.
That's what I was going to say. He's not one of these that's out there, balling, right? Right, making it rain. He lives pretty simply, everyone says. And so, yeah. But
I'd ask him, what are you going to do with the money?
Right. What would you do? What would you do if you had $1 trillion? Obviously, you're going to, forget I'm going to take care of my family, and I'm going to, get my house, pay off my house, pay off my car. Obviously, you're going to do all that. But what's the big thing that if you suddenly got $1 trillion, what's your passion project? What are you going to go, I could finally do this? Think about it. Is there something out there that only money has been holding you back from? Because money in the grand scheme of things, it's important, but it's not the most important thing.
I'd have to think about it.
Yeah, I'd have to really give it some thought, because $1 trillion, winning $1 million or getting $1 million is life-changing. $1 billion is 1 billion times more life-changing. And $1 trillion is just, that's unheard of. That's like multiple countries.
Wait for the Democrat meltdown.
Oh, yeah. So Musk did threaten to leave if he did. But I'm going to say this about Musk, though. Okay, but real quick, let's just put a pin in this very briefly, and let's talk about Elon Musk. He gets on my damn nerves sometimes. But he took a company that was fundamentally unprofitable and turned it around and made some wild-ass claims and staked his job on these claims. It's not like he went, I'm going to do this, and there was no penalty for not doing it. I don't know if you know the full story of when he took over Tesla and turned it profitable.
I don't really know.
So I learned, I didn't know any of this. I learned, so if you guys remember just a little bit ago, they were fighting for his pay to not happen, right? The judge said, oh, no, you can't make that. Mm-hmm. Even though the shareholders voted to say yes. I expect another lawsuit after this anyway. But here's the point. What he did was he had said, I'm going to take this company and I'm going to turn it profitable. I'm going to sell this many cars by this date. And it was, at the time he said this, it was unheard of. Like there was no possible way he could make it happen. And he was like, if I don't, then you don't pay me. I collect $0 if this doesn't work. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, he actually staked everything, and he pulled it off. So that's why when they did have the whole, oh, you shouldn't make that much, it's a ridiculous amount of money, dude. Like, even before, it was a ridiculous, I think it was like $300 billion the last time. Now, it's over $1 trillion, but he made that company. Like, no, he didn't create the company. A lot of people like to pick apart that. That's true. People who created it couldn't make it profitable. That's why they got him in there. And he turned it around. Anyway, it's an interesting story. You guys should check it out. Anyway, it could make him the first trillionaire, although he'll first have to hit a series of performance targets that stretch across the next decade. That's how he sets it up. Once again, the 54-year-old is already the world's richest person with a fortune of $490.1 billion, according to Forbes. Stock will be awarded to Musk in a set of 12 tranches. He would receive his first round of stock if Tesla hits a $2 trillion valuation and delivers 20 million vehicles. He gets another tranche if Tesla reaches a market capitalization of $3 trillion and delivers 1 million of its Optimus humanoid robots. Dude, speaking of robots, so you've seen the Optimus robot that Tesla makes, right? It's not ready for widespread production yet.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. Have you seen this new Neo robot?
No.
Okay. So let me jump real quick because I want you guys to see this. Okay, so Neo robot. There's a lot going on with this. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. All right. So the claim is they're going to bring this robot right here into your home. Okay, and it can do your chores for you. All right, allegedly. And it's important that I say that because the demo that they had, they admitted people were remotely controlling the robots. They're not fully autonomous yet. Okay. So you're paying $20,000 for one of these things. $20,000.
I know where you're going at. With
yeah. For some dude from India to remotely pilot this stupid little robot through your home and badly do your chores. Because it's remote. There's a delay. Like we're getting awesome levels of communication, but it's still, and yes, their claim is that all of the employees are based in the US and they're gonna live in California or whatever. You don't think that shit's gonna last, do you? Like, come on. All of our customer service is now foreign. Like, so this is that. Let me see if I can. There, look at this fucking thing. Media error. Look at that. They can't even get their videos right. It's broken now. Look at that. Look, expert mode. Neo works autonomously by default. For any chore it doesn't know, you can schedule a 1X expert to guide it, helping Neo learn while getting the job done. This is a giant beta test, guys. They're going to use your house for 20 grand. That's all it costs, 20 grand, and you get one of these stupid little robots, and they're going to use your house to train this thing so that it can be autonomous later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Technology.
Soft and safe. Neo is designed for gentle and safe interactions, making it perfect for people in the home. I watched a video the other day about this subject, but more in depth, and it was they are desensitizing you to these things. They are making them softer and friendlier so that you welcome them into your circle. Because let's face it, we are a society of individuals at this point. Very few of us have actual community anymore. We live alone. We scroll on our phones. We do our social media crap, but we do it from home. We're connected, but digitally. Well, if you're already alone, it's a little okay having. We're surrounded by computers as it is. They just don't have a body per se. I think this is the step. Dun dun dun. Telling you, man, Skynet's fucking coming, man. Used to laugh at people who thought that that was real. Oh, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. The military's already making unmanned aerial vehicles, unmanned submersibles. Did you see the manta ray experimental vehicle that what's the laboratory that does all the DARPA? Yeah,
I have it.
You haven't seen that?
Check it out.
Here, we'll another little break real here. I'll show you guys. I'm just Googling. Watch. Manta ray DARPA. DARPA's Manta Ray is a prototype extra-large, uncrewed underwater vehicle being developed by Northrop Grumman. It is designed for long-duration, long-range, and payload-capable missions in dynamic maritime environment. The program focuses on advancing key technologies for autonomous operation, including energy management, propulsion, and navigation, with recent in-water testing completed. This video introduces the Manta Ray UUV and its capabilities. You want to see it?
Sure.
All right. We'll have to pop the headphones in real quick. That's not it. Otherwise, you guys won't be able to hear it, and we won't be able to hear it, and it'll just suck. But
the next frontier, I think, is the sea.
What's that?
The next frontier of exploring is the sea.
Oh, dude, for real. Like, we have so much unexplored
in the ocean.
In the ocean, yeah. We do not know what's down there.
Which is kind of frightening.
It's terrifying. We know more about our solar system than we do the water around us. That's why when we do these videos about aliens, etc., right? I think a lot of that stuff is just underwater.
Could be.
Like we've seen the videos of the ones going in and out of the water. Where do they go when they're down there?
True.
I'm just saying. All right, let's check this out.
Taking both its name and shape from the manta ray, the largest and most spectacular type of ray, the UUV boasts a wingspan of up to 9 meters. This first prototype is theoretically capable of carrying a payload and navigating autonomously without human assistance. Designed to be modular and energy efficient, it can be fitted into various containers for deployment worldwide.
Wow. 9 meters. That's huge, dude. 9 meters is about Well, you figure a meter is approximately 3 feet. So what, like 27 feet, right? Is that right? 9 times 3, yeah.
Its energy efficiency is derived from its ability to anchor itself to the seabed and hibernate as needed.
That's actually kind of
Inspired by the manta ray's body shape, which enables efficient underwater swimming, the UUV mimics the animal's graceful gliding motion to conserve energy and maximize movement efficiency. This evolutionary strategy has ensured the manta ray's survival relatively unchanged for millions of years. The mode of underwater flight is crucial for a drone designed for extended autonomous operation, such as the manta ray. While the UUV doesn't flap its wings, it uses small propellers for movement, prioritizing energy efficiency. But how would the underwater drone get powered in the first place? One option is solar power, with panels on the drone's surface for charging. But as we mentioned previously, sunlight fades with depth, so the drone might need to surface, risking detection. Another option is wave energy. DARPA showcased a prototype in 2022 with a device that turns water movement into electricity. This lets the UUV recharge while staying submerged, reducing the risk of being detected. It's expected that the manta ray will use this technology too, although this is still not officially confirmed. The U.S. military is showing an increasing interest in unmanned technologies and their potential applications on the battlefield.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it there for several reasons, not the least of which is that used to be a huge proponent of unmanned vehicles. Why should we lose soldiers on the battlefield when we can go send a robot? We'll build another one, right? So watch Terminator, dude. Like for real, it's funny, but
Serious.
What happens if this shit turns against us?
True.
And I'm not talking about even, AI, Skynet, all that stuff. I mean, it is not difficult. Look at what happened when the U.S. thought we were big and bad and we had those, the stealth drones, and Iraq simply took one of them.
Uh-huh.
They reprogrammed it, it landed, and they knew it all. I'm just saying, if it's, if it has a computer, it's hackable. So it would really, really suck to have one of these not on our side. So I just hope they're building in plenty of fail safes and whatnot. So, all right. So we've got, you have been paying attention to the Supreme Court arguments, right?
A little bit.
A little bit. What is going on with that?
Well, the Supreme Court heard a case Tuesday, I think it was, on Trump's tariffs and if he had the executive authority to implement them.
So based on what I've heard about the arguments, it seems as if the big contention is that in law, it states the president shall be responsible for making trade agreements, making and maintaining trade agreements, right?
Yeah.
But apparently it is unlawful to create income with the trade agreement because then it falls under Congress's purview. So right now, that's what I've been able to figure out. Does that about sum it up?
Yeah.
Okay. So it seems like it's going to be really interesting. I've caught a few of the arguments here and there, and it doesn't sound like it's going particularly well for the Trump administration, at least based on what I've heard from the comments.
Yeah.
The judges, the questions that they're asking.
I think they're going to rule against Trump on that.
Okay. So let's say they do. Let's say they go, okay, no. You can't do tariffs by yourself. I think the administration is already preparing what they're going to do. So game 2 plan, in case Supreme Court rules against his tariffs, said he will develop a game 2 plan. So in other words, what are we going to do? What? Dude, there. Trump, by the way, said he plans to develop a Game 2 plan to carry out his tariff agenda after a majority of Supreme Court justices expressed skepticism over his use of emergency powers to impose sweeping tariffs on imported goods. We thought we did very well yesterday. We hope that we did, Trump said on November 6th, one day after the Supreme Court held oral arguments in a case challenging the legality of his tariffs. But I also think we'll have to develop a Game 2 plan. As a legal basis for most of his tariffs, Trump this year declared a national emergency over the United States' trade deficit under the 1977 International Emergency Economic Powers Act. That's a lot. Yet Trump's tariffs appeared in jeopardy of being overturned following 3 hours of debate at the Supreme Court. And I think that that's a lot of these articles is like, you might be reading into this. I kind of agree with them based on the questions that the justices were asking. It doesn't look good.
It doesn't.
All three of the court's liberal, which, they're going to vote against them, expressed clear resistance to upholding Trump's power to impose emergency tariffs, and at least 3 of the 6 conservatives, which John Roberts, untrustworthy. We know he's going to roll with the Democrats when he needs to. Amy Coney Barrett, incredibly disappointed in her ass, incredibly disappointed. And Neil Gorsuch, I was surprised, sounded skeptical of the Trump administration's arguments. Trump has staked much of his economic and foreign policy agendas on his aggressive use of tariffs. The second-term Republican said it would be devastating for our country if court overrules his administration, but he did not identify other laws he could use to issue the same steep tariffs. Other potential avenues would be slow in comparison, agreed. I was able to do it instantaneously when we were threatened by the rare earths, the magnets, talking about China. And it would be a shame. It would be somewhat catastrophic for our country, Trump said, later arguing he's used tariffs to settle international conflicts. And he has. So that is actually, I was waiting for them to say that because one of the arguments that was argued in front of the Supreme Court was by the administration's attorney. And they said, what if the tariffs are not generating income but do avert war? And it made me stop and think. Trump has used these tariffs in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
It's a bargaining chip. It's a, make them come to the table now. So I don't know. Look, I'm ending war because of these tariffs. Americans would have to fight in some of these wars. During the November 5th oral arguments, Roberts noted the word tariff doesn't appear in the statute, which has historically been used by presidents to issue sanctions on other countries. Instead, Roberts explicitly said tariffs are a tax, a term Trump and the White House officials have tried to avoid in describing the duties on imports. Roberts said the power to levy taxes has, quote, always been the core power of Congress, not the executive branch. Gorsuch, a first-term Trump appointment, made a similar point, arguing the Constitution designates Congress as the branch of government with the power to set taxes. The power to reach into the pockets of the American people is just different, Gorsuch said, and it's been different since the founding. Trump, asked by a reporter to respond to Roberts' characterization that tariffs are taxes on Americans, defended his claim that other countries are paying the tariffs. It is. It's coming in because they charged us. Those same countries that you talk about are charging us massive amounts of money, Trump said. The tariff case arrived on appeal from Trump admin after a federal appeal court ruled in August that most of Trump's tariffs are illegal. The legal challenge was brought by a group of businesses opposed to the tariffs. Trump had previously suggested he might attend, but he ultimately passed. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent watched the proceedings in person instead. So, tariffs. Whether you love them or hate them, they're here. Trump uses them, and the Supreme Court is about to decide whether or not he can keep doing so.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
It'll be very interesting. And like everybody says, and I agree with this, be careful what you wish for, because it's going to come from the next administration and the one after that and the one after that. Every single administration pushes boundaries, and they try to get as far as they can. We shall see. We shall see. Let's see here. Let me close some of these tabs because I got a lot of them. Oh, there we go. We're good. Computer's starting to slow down. So there we go. Oh, this creepy robot. Let me go back to this real quick, because soft and safe. Neo is designed for gentle and safe interactions. Look at that thing.
I'll pass.
Yeah. Emotive ear ring. Yeah, it's got like a light around its ear area.
And another way for them to spy on us.
Yeah, and that's look, guys. If you think for a moment, you know what that's for? That's for the truly rich. Number one, that $20,000 doesn't matter, right? You got to have enough money that 20 grand doesn't matter to get one of these. That's for people who want minions but don't want the minions in their house.
True.
That's for the people that are perfectly okay with paying people to do menial shit for them, right? And hey, whatever, man. If I had that kind of money, I probably would pay people to do shit for me too. But those are the ones that are like, yeah, keep your peasant ass at home and you can just do it with the robot. You can come in and clean up after me, but not you yourself. You stay there.
Yeah. Let's have a robot.
Yeah, you can come in with the robot. Use the robot.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, there's that way I don't have to smell you. You know?
True.
Wow. Anyway, I know that sounds really awful, but am I wrong now? So let's talk about 3i Atlas.
Okay.
Have you guys seen what's going on with this thing?
I saw that it changed colors.
Okay, so it's changed colors and apparently it's slowed down.
Interesting.
Now, here's the weird part. They said, okay, yes, it could slow down, but if it slows down by this amount, then it means that it lost this much mass, right? And so we should see a plume. That's my takeaway from what I read about this. I could be incorrect. We're going to jump into a story here in just a second. But here's the weird part, right? So it changed colors multiple times, which is weird. Even the scientists go, a little color change, yeah, but it's like a lot. And it's colors we didn't expect. Okay. Now, on the one hand, it means that it's made up of different materials than they expected. Okay. I guess it's got like nickel in it or something. Okay. Cool. Fine. Whatever. But then the acceleration was different than deceleration, was different than they expected. It changed positions in an odd way, or I guess destinations, right? That's the word I was looking for. The trajectory changed in ways they didn't expect. And the colors changed, and there was no plume where they expected. Because with comets, you got all that part of the ice and the dust streams off of it based on, gravity and shit. Stuff. So it's supposed to go a certain way according to the scientists, right? But it didn't. It's not going the way. If I showed you guys. Mysterious interstellar object showing signs of non-gravitational acceleration 7 hours ago. China's Tianwen-1 Mars probe captures images of interstellar comet. It reappeared. Fuzzy images. New images show 3i Atlas does not have a tail.
Which means that it wouldn't be a comet.
Right. So this is one of the ones that I looked at says, we will continue to push for answers. Go away. Why? There we go. All these ads, bro. In early July, astronomers spotted a mysterious object, later dubbed 3i Atlas. We know all about that. If you guys watched the show, we talked about it last time. Last week, the object, which is now generally believed to be a comet, reached the closest point of the sun, and may be getting a major boost that's unaccounted for by the sun's gravitational pull as well. As NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, navigation engineer David Farnakia detailed in a recently filed report, 3i Atlas is showing signs of, quote, non-gravitational acceleration. That's potentially a scary term, but what does it really mean? While that may sound like an alien spacecraft is lighting up its afterburners, there's a far more mundane and natural explanation. As Harvard astronomer A.V. Loeb laid out in a blog post last week, the acceleration is most likely the result of 3i Atlas losing significant amounts of mass, forming an elongating plume of dust and gas. That's what we were talking about, right? If it lost enough of its mass, then it's going to create that plume and it could pick up speed. Put simply, as it expels this material at a greater rate, it's being kicked in the opposite direction. Loeb suggests the object could lose about 1/10 of its mass in a matter of a single month. During the NBC News interview, the Atacama Large Millimeter Submillimeter Array, that's another mouthful of a name, in northern Chile, observed a, quote, deviation by 4 arc seconds in right ascension from the expected path. There's a sentence for you.
So it's not going to the same path that they thought that it was going to go.
And that's very significant statistically, he said, calculating the boost corresponding to the evaporation of about 1/6 of the mass of the object, which is a significant fraction. Such a massive mass loss should be detectable in the form of a large plume of gas surrounding 3i Atlas during the upcoming months of October and November, he wrote in his blog. At that time, we should be able to observe a cloud of gas that carries 5 billion tons of material or more. The astronomer also suggested in his blog that the massive evaporation might explain its unusual brightening. However, Loeb still left the door open for a more far-fetched explanation for the rapid acceleration as well. The researcher has long suggested that 3i Atlas could be an enormous alien spacecraft, pointing at numerous anomalies that make it a major outlier, even when compared to the other 2 interstellar objects we've observed so far. Quote, alternatively, the non-gravitational acceleration might be the technological signature of an internal engine, Loeb wrote in his blog. This might also explain the report on 3i Atlas getting bluer than the sun. What does that mean? Loeb explained that the object's dust is expected to redden the scattered sunlight, which would result in it having a redder color than the sun. The blue color, on the other hand, quote, could potentially be explained by a hot engine or a source of artificial light. Even then, the color change could once again have a natural explanation. Instead, it could simply be a signature of ionized carbon monoxide for a natural comet. Besides the little gravitational besides the little non-gravitational acceleration that 3i Atlas experienced won't be enough to bring it significantly closer to any solar system planet from its original gravitational path. Unfortunately, Loeb's efforts to study the object have been greatly complicated by the ongoing government shutdown, telling NBC that he still hasn't heard back from interim NASA Administrator Sean Duffy after inquiring about it during flyby. I think it's inappropriate to withhold the scientific information from the community because we are planning future observations based on what we know about Atlas. We will continue to push for answers.
If it was an alien spacecraft, I don't know if they tell us.
Right. So 12 hours ago, let's see, this says 2 hours ago right here. This is supposed to be pictures of this thing.
I'm not convinced it's a...
No, I'm not. It's a blurry image of dots. That's what we get. A blurry ass image of a bunch of white dots. That's what we got. Give me a break. Look, guys, I don't know what this thing is.
I don't think it's
probably a comet.
Probably.
It's just, no matter what, it is showing us that we don't know nearly as much as we think we do.
True.
No matter what, we can learn from this because we are seeing it doing things that these very well paid researchers claim it's going to do, and it's not. It's doing something else. So either they don't know what the hell they're talking about, or, and the more likely explanation, we still have so much to learn. There's stuff on our planet that we don't understand. So it's perfectly reasonable to expect a comet or whatever this thing, asteroid, whatever, to us not be able to predict everything it's going to do. It came from outside the solar system. This is only the third thing that we've observed that's been extrasolar. In other words, not from the solar system, I believe. And I'm just going by what I read. I don't know. I'm not an astronomer or an astrologer or whatever,
scientist.
or a scientist. So, hell, I'm barely sane. So I'm just kidding, guys. All right. Was there something else?
There was Putin, but I deleted it by accident.
No, here it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. All right. So check this out, guys. I think I accidentally closed the actual, but I'm going to get it back. Hold on. So Vladimir Putin, right? Has embedded so many people in his cabinet. Check this out, guys. I'll read you the report because it's wild. Aging Putin, which we know he's getting up there, brings younger generation family members in a circle amid Kremlin instability. All the people around Putin will be thinking about a world beyond him, says expert. Russian President Vladimir Putin is tightening his grip on power by elevating younger loyalists amid growing instability inside the Kremlin as he ages. Putin, 73, ruled Russia for more than 2 decades, is running out of cards to play as pressure mounts both domestically and abroad. The Federal Security Service, FSB, also opened a criminal case against exiled businessman Mikhail Khodorkovsky and 22 members of the Anti-War Committee of Russia, accusing them of plotting a seizure of power, per reports. Khodorkovsky, I give up, spent a decade in a Siberian prison before founding the Anti-War Committee in 2022. Khodorkovsky. John Herbst, Senior Director of the Eurasia Center at the Atlantic Council and former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, told the UK outlet that the Kremlin is falling into paranoia. Putin warns Western troops in Ukraine would be legitimate targets. And I'd have to agree with him, unfortunately. All the people around him have started thinking about a world beyond Putin, so he has arranged his own elite in a really careful way so there are no clear seams along which it would kind of rip apart. His people are mixed together in a way that makes it very hard for any faction to operate autonomously, blah, blah, blah. Here it is. He also has members of his own family now that are starting to rise in the ranks. One of the ones that has gotten the most attention is Anna Evgenievna Sivolyova, nee Putina. Sivolyova, 52, is Putin's first cousin once removed and currently heads the Defenders of the Fatherland Foundation, a state-run organization that supports Russian soldiers and veterans. She also has served as chair of the board of the Komar Group, one of Russia's largest coal companies.
Okay, never seen her before.
Yeah, me either. These people can be trusted because they're related to people close to Putin, and they can also be young and energetic. In 2023, Wagner Group leader Yevgeny Prigozhin staged a brief mutiny, sending his fighters toward Moscow before abruptly standing down, only to die weeks later in a plane crash.
Yeah, I wonder what happened there.
Now the Kremlin's focus has shifted to silencing opposition abroad. Extensive nepotism, having pointed numerous relatives and close friends to high-ranking government positions and roles within state-controlled companies. An investigation by the Russian outlet, however you say that, Proit, I don't know, revealed at least 24 of his relatives have benefited from these ties. And then it goes on to give key examples. But right here. These appointments have been described as testing even Russian tolerance for corrupt practice and a record for nepotism since the Imperial Romanov dynasty a century ago. That's a lot of nepo, man. That's a lot of nepo. So yeah, don't kill me, bro. So I'm kidding, obviously. Not about the not killing me part, but
I wonder if his health is declining.
I've heard that he has had some very serious health problems, and he is more than likely trying to steer the direction of the country after his untimely.
Probably or if he gets assassinated.
Yeah.
They almost got him a couple.
Oh yeah, they've tried. But yeah, that's where we're at. It's a crazy world out there, man. It's a crazy world.
Just wish that war would end.
I don't want any more of my money going to Ukraine.
Agreed.
But all that aside, I do wish that war would end, that the peace holds in Gaza. I don't want people dying, man. It's horrible. No matter which side of whatever you're on, I just like it all to stop.
It's the people, the average person that gets hurt.
Yeah.
During war.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? That's what it comes down to. Yeah, the soldiers are the ones fighting, but the civilians are the ones that pay the price. And ultimately, it's going to suck. We have been very, very fortunate here in the United States that war hasn't really touched our homeland.
No. For
a long time, yeah. Since the Civil War. I mean, yeah. And while technically during World War II, the Japanese did technically land on islands we own, as far as mainland invasion of the United States, no. And no country is going to attempt that anytime in the near future. It's simply too hard. I've learned so much about the layers of security that the United States has. I used to worry very much about like EMPs, right? Well, I believe that the military has fail safes for that. The civilian sector, though, you gotta think of yourself. You got to think of yourself and your family, and what would you do? Because while we can hope all day, every day that war doesn't touch our shores, the reality is if shit does hit the fan, who's going to have to figure shit out? You are. The government is not coming to help us, guys. Like, I don't know how I can get that point across any more than watch the natural disasters that have happened in this country. Look at the people that lost their homes, that have lost their supplies, that have lost everything. Do you think the government helped them?
For the most part, no.
No.
Katrina's
Friends and family. What's that?
Katrina's the best example.
Katrina is an excellent example of what really happens in natural disasters. And normally this would be the point where I would plug a sponsor or whatever. I don't have any sponsors. Not that I haven't had the opportunity, because I have. I've turned down a couple. But I will not sell you guys shit. I don't believe it. It's just that simple. That said, I do recommend you have emergency food. I recommend you have a generator if you can afford it. I recommend, there's stuff that you can do. I did learn something, though, and this is actually pretty critical. I learned it during the last power outage in Michigan City. So if you have a generator, that's great. But you don't use the generator to power your home. You use the generator to recharge, like power banks that you use.
Okay.
To power your home, right? So you get basically a power bank for each room, whatever you're going to need, okay? And then it needs to be enough to run everything for a while. And then you run the generator, you charge them up, and then you shut the generator off. Because otherwise you're running the generator 24/7, and it gets very, very, very expensive. And you got to keep filling the damn thing up with gas. Which I got a nice generator. Like it's older, but it's a big heavy ass thing. Anyway, it works great. It powers everything that I need, but it's also like loud, dude. Generators are loud.
Are they?
Oh, this one is, yeah. So I mean, in general, most generators are loud. I think the natural gas ones are quieter. I got to get the kit, but I can convert mine. But anyway, the point is, if you're going to use that to rely on, you really should start thinking about getting the battery packs or the power packs to do each room individually so that you can just fire up the generator for an hour or two, charge the stuff up, and then turn it off. Because I know my neighbors did not love me when I had the generator going because it's fucking loud and it's, running in my backyard and they're all sitting there in the dark. I feel bad for them, but when you're good for like the first week. After about a week, that's when people start turning on each other. 3 days without food, by the way. Less time but I digress. Point is, think about these things while you have power and food and all this stuff. Have a plan in place. Have friends that you can network with, because that's what it's all about. Having a group of people, because as awesome as you are, you can't have it all. You can't have all the guns and the ammo and the this and the food and the water, because somebody's going to take it from you. You, no matter how well defended you are, you're one person, maybe two. You start building a group, then that's a different story. But I know I went off on a little tangent.
Oh, we're good.
Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys stopping in. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on?
No, we're good.
All right. There's so much going on. It's hard to keep track of everything. Maybe next time we can do the breakdown of the Supreme Court arguments, or something else. If there's something you guys want to see, by all means, drop it in the comments. Which would be the best place for you to read the comments? YouTube? Facebook videos are Shawn has the most chance of seeing them. So if there's something that you want him to analyze, let him know. I used to be really good at reading comments, not so much anymore. I suck. So I'm trying to get better though. I think we got a working situation here. By the way, guys, I know that sometimes the signal has been kind of up and down with the camera. I actually got Starlink. So I got Xfinity that I'm using right now. I actually ordered Starlink and they're coming next week to install it. I'm going to do a comparison. I'm going to put in brute force test and like finesse testing to check packet loss and all the speeds and the whole 9 yards. See if this resolves the issue that I have. I'm hoping, because good Lord, I'm so good. Anyway,
yeah, you're so tired of.
It's the same crap, guys. It's the symbol in the upper left corner of the broadcast for me that says connection is unstable, and then it'll drop his video feed. It'll drop like all kinds of stuff. I have a kick-ass network here. I spent the money to have the fastest internet that money could buy here, and according to the place StreamYard that I use to do my videos through, even a fast connection can be unstable. But it's not unstable. I've checked the packet loss. Everything is golden. So I'm probably just going to switch companies. If you guys know of I'm going to try out Restream, I think, give them an opportunity. But if you guys know of a good multi-destination streaming platform like StreamYard or Restream, let me know. I looked at Streamlabs. Their behavior got kind of sketchy with anyway, I derailed it enough. Just so you guys know, I am working on getting back going full time and getting the video back to daily as it was supposed to be. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope that all of you has a happy Thanksgiving when you get to it. I'm concerned about the travel stuff. Put it this way, I'm really glad my aunt came up to visit when she did, because it's gonna have some far-reaching effects, I believe. But So for me, all right, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you, God bless Indiana, and God bless the United States of America. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Why is that?
Did it just go off?
No. Hold on. What is going on here? There we go. Sorry about that. I clicked the wrong stuff. I'm like, what is happening? God bless you. God bless Indiana. And God bless the United States of America. I hope you have a wonderful night. And we'll see you guys next time. Good night.